Hi, welcome to another Guild Wars 2 video. This time we're going to be looking into a theory I've had when recording these jumping puzzle videos. But before we get onto that, I want to quickly discuss the word exploit and exploiting. This video isn't going to tell you how to break the rules, it's not going to get your account banned. As far as I can tell, this is fully within the rules of the game. This looks like an intended game mechanic that we're taking advantage of here, and also we're not getting a massive amount of reward from it, but it's a cool little thing that you might find interesting. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. Leave your comments and thoughts below. Anyway, on to the content of the video. So this is something that I'd noticed when recording my kind of little jumping puzzle walkthroughs. Sometimes I would record them a little bit after actually going through them, so I'd walk through the puzzle or the achievement and figure out how it's done, and then I'll come back and do it a lot quicker, because nobody wants to see somebody failing for 45 minutes. That's a bit boring. And sometimes it would be a day later, it might be a couple of hours later. But what I noticed was an inconsistent behaviour of the chests, and in some cases the whole encounter would be reset if I was coming back to it a day later, but it wouldn't be if I was coming back a couple of hours later. And I think a lot of people are approaching these jumping puzzles from a kind of get in, do the achievement, get out kind of mentality. They're not necessarily massively interested in the loot that they get out of it, but it's a nice little bonus that they get. In some cases a splendid chest with some not entirely bad loot in there. So pulling that all together, the idea was that, well, maybe if we come back to a splendid chest, because I've not actually seen a splendid chest reset, maybe it would actually be reset and we could get some decent loot. So that's exactly what I'm doing here in the Laura Claw Expanse. This jumping puzzle, you can get through this in a matter of minutes once you know what you're doing. So that's exactly what I'm doing. We do have to go through and trigger the chest there to set the trap, but we dispose of these champion mobs very quickly. We get XP, we get a bit of karma, so that's nice as well. And then we are going to trigger the pressure plate up here, see if we get the splendid chest reset as well. Hopefully we do. And just another little tip for you rangers out there, when I was just tackling that champion mob, I used a warhorn. Initially used the buffs and then swapped it out for a different weapon whilst the buffs were still up. It's kind of like if you're familiar with WoW raiding, I guess it's a bit like pre-potting. It can just help a little bit, but it's not necessary on these fights. But it might be useful on explorable dungeons later on. Anyway, there we go. Splendid chest reset. Lovely. We get a bit of loot out of that. Like I say, I think this gets reset on about, it's definitely a day, but it might be 12 hours, I'm not exactly sure, and without running the same dungeon over and over again, which I'm not going to do. But you know, give it a day, get some free loot, maybe a bit of karma and some XP at the same time. That's my kind of exploiting. You're getting benefit without getting banned. Alright, I'll see you next time, and as I said earlier, leave a comment or feedback below. See ya.